This is Remote Leadership Unlocked, 5 Things Only You Can Do. Written and published by Jeffrey Duke. Tools, assessments, and guides referenced in this book are available at www.unlocked.click. Dedication. To remote managers everywhere who are reinventing leadership for the future of work. Acknowledgements. Crafting this book was an innovative journey, made possible by an unprecedented partnership between human insight and artificial intelligence. While I guided the strategic vision, practical frameworks, and real-world applications, I was assisted by AI systems throughout the research and writing process. Gemini AI conducted the initial comprehensive research phase, identifying and analyzing over 260 academic and corporate sources across 7 key areas of remote leadership. Claude AI then served as a valuable synthesis partner, helping to develop core content, organize the manuscript, and ensure research integration throughout. This collaborative approach ensures that every page offers relevant, actionable insights grounded in current research for managing remote teams. My deepest gratitude goes to the dedicated researchers whose empirical work underpins the principles shared in these pages. A special thank you to the teams at leading corporations, research institutions, and universities around the globe for their tireless efforts in advancing our understanding of remote work effectiveness and unlocking human potential in virtual environments. Introduction. The Remote Leadership Revolution. Ana Diaz thought she had remote leadership figured out, until her star performer was working weekends in silence, and her tech expert nearly destroyed a major client relationship with an accidental unmute. For 18 months, Ana had been managing Data Flow Solutions, analytics team of 6 people scattered across 4 time zones. On paper, everything looked successful. Projects delivered on time, clients satisfied, team members meeting their goals. She'd successfully transitioned from being a senior data analyst to managing former peers in a fully remote environment. She thought she'd mastered the basics: regular video calls, clear project assignments, and responsive communication. Then, Elena, her most thorough analyst, casually mentioned in a Monday morning Slack check-in that she'd been working weekends for 6 weeks straight because she was, quote, probably slower than everyone else, and wondered if she was really cut out for this level of analytics work. Ana was shocked. Elena's work was consistently excellent. How had Ana completely missed that one of her best performers was drowning in isolation? A week later, during a critical client presentation for a $2.5 million contract renewal, Jordan's voice cut through the Zoom call with a comment he thought was muted. Another business requirement that makes no technical sense. The client's CFO demanded to know if someone had just called his question nonsensical. Ana managed to salvage the situation, but barely. As Ana reflected on these incidents, she realized a troubling pattern. Elena was struggling alone instead of asking for help. Jordan was frustrated with client requirements he didn't understand, but had no way to voice concerns constructively. David was taking on unsustainable workloads to prove his value. Priya was hiding her design expertise to fit in with the data-heavy culture. Bobby avoided client communication despite having valuable insights to share. Sarah was working overtime to translate between technical and business teams because no one else knew how. Ana had 6 talented individuals who happened to share a manager, but she didn't have a team. More importantly, she realized she'd been managing remote work the same way she would have managed office work. She was monitoring output, coordinating tasks, and assuming that professional courtesy meant everything was fine. Sound familiar? Ana's story illustrates what millions of managers have discovered. Remote leadership isn't just office management through a screen. As you read her journey, consider how these challenges show up in your own management context. The crisis hidden in plain sight. The Great Remote Experiment that began in 2020 revealed something startling. The difference between remote teams that thrive and remote teams that struggle isn't technology, company culture, or even the type of work they do. It's the quality of management. Here's what we know from the data. Managers account for up to 70% of the variance in team engagement. Gallup, 2025. Think about that: nearly 3/4 of whether your team members feel motivated, productive, and satisfied with their work depends on you. When managed effectively, remote workers consistently report lower burnout and higher satisfaction than their office counterparts. This isn't because remote work is inherently easier. It's because the managers who figured out how to lead remote teams have created something better than what most office environments provide. The evidence is clear. When remote work is managed effectively, teams can outperform their office-based counterparts. But achieving this requires fundamentally different approaches than traditional co-located management techniques. The scale of the challenge. Remote work isn't a temporary pandemic adjustment, it's the new reality. A significant portion of U.S. businesses now have employees who work from home, representing millions of companies and tens of millions of workers who need effective remote leadership right now. The numbers tell a clear story. About 39% of full-time employees now work either fully remote, 12%, or in hybrid arrangements, 27%, with roughly 28% of all paid workdays happening away from traditional offices, compared to just 5% before the pandemic. Even more telling, businesses expect these levels to continue for the next 5 years. Employers aren't planning to abandon remote work. They're planning to make it work better. This isn't going away. Remote work has fundamentally changed how business gets done, and organizations need managers who can lead effectively in this new environment. The management challenge nobody prepared you for. Here's the reality. Most management training was designed for people working in the same physical space. When you could see someone's body language, overhear their conversations, and grab them for a quick hallway chat, management felt intuitive. You could sense team dynamics, catch problems early, and build relationships through proximity. Remote work changed everything. Suddenly, you couldn't see when someone was struggling, overhear the conversation that would give you context, or catch problems through casual observation. The trap you might fall into is trying to recreate office dynamics online. They schedule more video calls to replace in-person meetings. They use monitoring software to replace walking by desks. They create virtual water cooler channels to replace break room conversations. This approach fails because it treats remote work as a compromising, lesser version of real work that needs artificial substitutes for the good stuff that happens in offices. Why this book exists. The manager preparation gap is real and measurable. Recent studies show that managers spend nearly 40% of their time on administrative tasks, and only 13% developing their people. Deloitte, 2025a. That ratio works poorly in office settings. It's catastrophic in remote settings, where human connection and development are harder to achieve organically. Remote workers don't need less management. They need different management. They need managers who can build trust without proximity, create psychological safety remotely, foster innovation across time zones, develop talent without casual mentoring opportunities, maintain team cohesion without shared physical space, balance high performance with sustainable work practices. The challenge is that most management training and organizational systems were designed for co-located teams. The skills, time allocation, and mindset required for remote excellence are fundamentally different. The evidence is overwhelming. Research identifies communication quality as one of the most significant predictors of employee engagement in remote work environments, Tawalba, 2025. Even more telling, the quality of support from colleagues and supervisors serves distinct but critical functions. Research shows that strong peer support is essential for promoting well-being and job satisfaction, while effective supervisor support is key to mitigating technology-related stress. Capone, et al., 2024. Manager training can improve team performance by 20 to 28% and increase manager well-being by 32%. Gallup, 2025. Yet only 7% of organizations are making substantial progress in reinventing manager roles for hybrid work, despite 73% recognizing the need. Deloitte, 2025a. Yet most managers receive no specific training for remote team leadership, instead relying on office-based approaches that create the problems Anna experienced with her team. What remote workers actually need versus what they're getting. The research reveals a significant gap between what remote workers need to thrive and what most managers provide. What remote workers need. Clear connection to purpose and meaningful outcomes. Regular, substantial feedback and development conversations. Strong peer relationships and team collaboration systems. Psychological safety to voice concerns, admit mistakes, and share ideas. Sustainable work boundaries and proactive well-being support. Growth opportunities and career development visibility. What most managers provide. Status update meetings and task assignment coordination. Annual performance reviews and generic training programs. Team meetings focused on project logistics. Polite professionalism and conflict avoidance. Flexibility policies and wellness benefits programs. Reactive career conversations when people ask or when problems arise. See the gap? Traditional management focuses on coordination and oversight. Remote leadership requires leadership and development. The skills are different, the time allocation is different, and the impact is dramatically different. Your unique opportunity. When you manage remote teams effectively, you create competitive advantages that office-based teams struggle to match. Global talent access without geographic constraints. Reduced overhead costs while maintaining or improving productivity. Increased employee satisfaction and retention. Enhanced focus time for complex work. Greater work-life integration leading to sustainable performance. Accelerated innovation through diverse perspectives and asynchronous thinking time. But these advantages only emerge when management evolves to match the medium. That's where this book comes in. Meet Anna's team. Throughout this book, you'll follow Anna Diaz and her remote analytics team at Dataflow Solutions as they transform from a collection of isolated individual contributors into a high-performing, collaborative unit. Here's who you'll get to know. Anna Diaz is the team manager, located in Austin, Texas. A former senior data analyst with 18 months of management experience, she's analytical and detail-oriented, learning people leadership after being promoted for her technical skills. Elena Vasquez is a junior data analyst in Miami, Florida. A recent graduate with 8 months at Dataflow, she's enthusiastic and eager to learn, working on building confidence and speaking up in meetings. Bobby Jackson is a senior data scientist in San Antonio, Texas. With a PhD in statistics and 4 years at Dataflow, he's introverted and passionate about complex problems, focusing on explaining technical work to non-technical clients. Jordan Thompson is a data engineer in Denver, Colorado. With a software engineering background and 18 months at Dataflow, he's pragmatic and independent but can be blunt, working on collaborative communication and empathy for business users. David Moore is a business intelligence analyst in Chicago, Illinois. A former consultant with 3 years at Dataflow, he's outgoing and strategic, a natural communicator who tends to overcommit and take on too much work. Priya Patel is a data visualization specialist in Portland, Oregon. With a design background and 2 years at Dataflow, she's creative and collaborative, a visual thinker who balances aesthetics with business impact. And Sarah Chen is a senior business analyst in Boston, Massachusetts. With an MBA and 3 years at Dataflow, she's organized and diplomatic, serving as a bridge between technical and business teams while managing perfectionist tendencies and work-life boundaries. As you read about Anna's journey through the 5 core responsibilities, you'll see how she learns to build genuine relationships with each team member, create systems for collaboration and psychological safety, focus on meaningful outcomes, open doors for individual growth, and maintain sustainable high performance, all while managing across 4 time zones and helping her team thrive in a fully remote environment. This team represents the reality most managers face: talented people with different communication styles, working styles, and development needs, all trying to collaborate effectively in digital environments instead of shared physical space. Their story shows exactly how the principles in this book translate into practical, daily management decisions that transform both individual and team performance.